Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. If any of you were unaware of where I've been as of late, I guess it's a good time to tell you all that I actually made it out to the Jurassic Park 25th anniversary event in LA. I had a blast and we'll be doing a few videos on what exactly went down over there in the very near future. But for today's video, I want to talk about something Fallen Kingdom related specifically. Now, over at Universal, one of the events for JP's anniversary happened to be a screening of the original Jurassic Park. And at the beginning of this showing, I actually got to see the first 7 minutes of the new movie. As per the title of this video, I want to assure you that this is a completely non-spoiler review. I will not be spoiling absolutely anything that happens within the duration of the new movie's opening sequence. This is in part because I know that nearly everyone wants to be kept in the dark, but also because I want you all to be just as surprised as I was watching it in the theater. What I'll basically do is break down my thoughts on the footage and how well I think it's made rather than reveal any major plot details about its opening. After hearing all of the buzz from CinemaCon, I was pretty hyped at seeing how excellent this opening was going to be, and boy, I gotta tell you, it seriously delivered. So first things first, I want to go ahead and talk about the tone that's set up at the beginning of this new film. One of the things that surprised me the most was just how different this was in comparison with 2015's Jurassic World. I knew that they were headed in a much darker and far more suspense-driven atmosphere, but I didn't really think they'd establish it quite like what was shown in this opening. This is a Jurassic scene that relies heavily on the audience's immersion in the grim and almost bleak imagery that they show on screen. It's very well shot and actually quite mysterious in presentation. The cinematography around the very beginning consists of dim lighting and a quiet ambiance that really doesn't feel like anything we've seen in any previous Jurassic films before. This particular feeling is soon overpowered by an exterior shot of absolute chaos. The imagery within it is very reminiscent of the first movie, and it happens to be playing off of the torrential downpour aesthetics of that movie's hurricane. This was the point in the footage, and again quite early on too, that it became apparent that what I was seeing felt undeniably like JP1. In fact, I really don't think I've ever seen any of the sequels prior to this really capture that feeling of being on Isla Nublar during the terrible power outage that took place in the middle of the first film. To put it in the most basic of terms, it looks, feels, and even sounds like you're in the ruins of Jurassic Park more so than Jurassic World. It kind of took me by surprise. During all of what's going on, we get a really cool music cue from the previous film by Michael Giacchino for a specific shot that put a big grin across my face, while also reminding me of how much clear and present danger these humans that we're following are currently in. The sweeping winds and waving palm trees really take you back to the first movie, and seeing things like the yellow rain jackets and water assaulting the concrete, it just feels like you're watching Jurassic Park in 2018. And then something happened that I totally did not expect. I'm not going to reveal what it was because it's pretty cool observing it in the moment, but just know that there is a certain dinosaur that makes a very, and I mean very small cameo during this scene. It's one that I've often wondered whether or not we'd get to see it in this film, but after seeing a small glimpse and hearing its unmistakable cry, I knew immediately what it was, and after all of that, the fun begins. The next half of the opening is downright terrifying and easily the most suspenseful and scary beginning sequence in any Jurassic Park film outside of probably the first. If I had to put it into words, I'd say you're going to get a feeling that's a mix of the must go faster scene and Roland tranking the Buck Rex from the Lost World. This scene is not played for laughs, unearned jumps, or cheap thrills. It is absolutely taken 100% seriously and may be one of the most significant moments of T-Rex attack that we've actually seen in the franchise. I'm not kidding either, Rexy is a big girl in this opening and she lays complete waste. All within an eerily believable way that never crosses over into Godzilla territory. This stuff is creepy, man. It's shot and presented in an almost Grim Reaper-ish way. I'm happy to say that all of the hype surrounding this movie's portrayal of the Rex is honestly paying off. That one scene alone, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it, I actually do think that it's the best opening in the series. Granted, I've still only seen it once, but from what I can compare it to, I really think it absolutely rivals and really outdoes the opening to Jurassic Park. Now, I say this in the most objectively proper way that I can because obviously some people are never going to let any sequel be crowned superior to the first movie, but I will say that if we're talking about errors and mistakes, then Fallen Kingdom can claim to be free of them and the first movie can't. I mean, Muldoon's hat disappears and reappears on his head in a few noticeable continuity errors at the beginning of JP1, which doesn't take anything away from what it factually is, but from what I saw, you don't get anything like that in this new footage. It all ends in a glorious moment of cinematography excellence and gives us the answer to something that we'd previously speculated on the channel about in the past, and all I'm going to say about it is that my guess was right. This is around the time that she'll be treated to the title card, and I don't really know if this will stay in the final cut or not, but just know that this film doesn't open with the orange or silver lettering from previous films. It's actually the first one to present us with the actual movie logo, which looks nothing like the chipped stone gray one that we've seen all over the merchandise and everyone's thumbnails. It's shown off in a really cool animated bit that sports a classic looking red color scheme and maybe even a little orange. That's all I'll say. Apart from that, I'm pretty sure I caught onto a small metaphorical sequence in which the characters do something that foreshadows something else. This one being surprisingly biblical in context and really disturbing. It's something that plays into the whole man playing God concept these movies explore. But yeah, man, that's it. That's my review and assessment of the Fallen Kingdom opening. I absolutely loved it. It feels very much so like Jurassic Park 1, but also happens to give us things that we've totally never seen before. There wasn't too much dialogue in this scene, so I can't really comment on the writing or anything, but from what was shown to me, it looked really well done. Very different tone from Jurassic World and way more grim. Bleak is the word I would use to describe the situation that plays out in the beginning. On a side note, I even kind of got the feeling that this was giving a little nod to Jurassic Park the game in some respect. So be on the lookout for that. Nothing major, just the visual aesthetics of some of the dudes. And with all that being said, I'd love to know what all of you think about this video. What does this make you think about Fallen Kingdom, and how does my review live up to your own expectations? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. I'm really curious to see what you all think. Now, before I go, I want to thank my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well, like Travis Neal. It's extremely awesome to have you all help me build this thing up, and it seriously means the world to receive every ounce of support that you've shown me. Honestly, guys, I seriously can't thank you enough. Now, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and hope that you all enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys. And as always, take it easy.